Good morning and welcome back. Thank you so much for following me and checking out this video. We just got back from about a week trip in Yosemite National Park in California. I had the pleasure of going on this trip with my 3 daughters and their 2 boyfriends, so there were 6 of us. We took 2 cars up and stayed in a tent cabin in Curry Village. Trip was in July of 2020, so COVID was definitely on everybody's mind, and the park was very cautious and try to keep everybody safe. To get into the stores, we had to wait in line and use hand sanitizer, keeping your 6-foot separation. There was a few restaurants, but it had to be outdoor dining, but they did bring in some food trucks. All the trails were open. So we went on this trip basically to celebrate my 3 girls who graduated this year, one of them with her bachelor's, one with an associate, and one from high school. So this was a big celebration year for us, and we had planned on doing an international trip, but due to COVID, we had to keep it local. So we booked this in March. We were very fortunate to get 3 cabins in Yosemite, but I think it was due to the pandemic. At this time, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and please follow me on Instagram for any updated videos. Okay, here we are, heading into Yosemite, coming through the tunnel. You guys holding your breath back there? Here it is. Wow! Look at that. Right after the tunnel, there's a turnout that has a spectacular view. It's a must stop. I do it every time I come through Yosemite. I always have to stop here and get a picture of the family. So we just got here, and this is our cabin that we rented for the week. I rented 3 of them. They're no electricity. It's shared community bathrooms and showers, but this is what it looks like inside. So it's got a light for us at night, but other than that, there's not. There's a safe if you want to use it or whatever. They do have them with multiple beds, but this worked out perfectly for us. And of course, don't forget the bear locker. This is where you put your food in. Our first day in the park, we went and rented a few bikes. I was able to bring 4 bikes, but we needed to go rent a couple. It was $39 for the day, and it is a great way to see the valley floor. It's flat, you can ride your bike almost everywhere. So we had a great time exploring. Every view from the valley just makes this absolutely amazing. This is beautiful. We are here in Yosemite now, heading over to Yosemite Falls. We are here in a little bit of the warmer season, so there's not a lot of water. So we're going to see if we can see a little bit of the water that may be trickling down this time of year. I'm here on the hike with all of my kids. Such a such a beautiful little hike up to the falls. Okay, so we're here at Lower Yosemite Falls, and that is about as much water as we're going to see on this trip. Every morning the kids would get up and go on a really nice hike before it got too hot. This morning they went to Mirror Lake. So here are some of the pictures from their trip. Next stop was the Owani Motel. It is a majestic view that just stands out with the towering cliffs of Yosemite surrounding it. This hotel was built in 1927. Inside the lobby, they had these enormous fireplaces. To cool off, we decided to take the rest of the afternoon and go hang out at the Merced River. We drove around just trying to find the right spot. where we could possibly park and enjoy the time in the cool water. We brought our own float tubes. I'm not sure if you can buy them in the park. I know you can generally rent them, but during COVID, that facility was closed. So I did bring a couple of my own floats from home, and we had a great time just playing in the water. Here, my daughter was needing a little convincing to get into the cold water, but when she did, she had a great time. Okay, so now it's my turn. I will have to say it was absolutely freezing, and I kept hitting my bottom on the rocks, and boy, it hurt. Okay, the kids got up early again this morning and hiked up to Vernal Falls, up the Mist Trail. It is an absolutely beautiful hike to take. I wish this year I was able to make it. I've done it in the past and it is well worth it. It's one of my favorite waterfall hikes. We then drove to Glacier Point. It was about an hour and 15-minute drive. I would highly recommend bringing warm clothes, even though in the daytime it was pretty warm down in the valley. It gets really cold. We were trying to go up there to see the sunset, and it ended up just being too cold. We did get out and do a little bit of exploring. You can see a great view of Half Dome, Vernal Falls, and Nevada Falls. You can also see the valley floor. You can see the Owani Hotel, the lodge, Curry Village, Merced River. It's just spectacular. On our last full day at the park, we drove to Mariposa Grove and the giant sequoias. It was about an hour drive from Curry Village. It was just absolutely breathtaking to be able to walk amongst these enormously giant trees. One of the most famous trees in the grove is the grizzly giant. It is approximately 2,400 years old. It is the oldest tree in the grove. Here's some pictures of us with some of the famous trees. The fallen monarch tree is one of the sequoias that fell over 300 years ago. The Bachelor and Three Graces, and then the California tunnel tree, cut in 1895 to allow coaches to pass through. Now, you can't go to Yosemite without talking about the wildlife. Everywhere one of these temporary signs are is a representation of a bear that has been killed by speeding cars. So it's very important here while you're visiting the parks, any park, to drive slow. On this trip, we were able to see everything from squirrels to the different variety of birds. We even saw a bobcat walk through our camp. We were just sitting there talking and visiting and hanging out, and this guy just meandered right on through. Not a care in the world that we were sitting there. We saw a ton of deer, and believe it or not, we saw quite a few bear this time of year. I've been to Yosemite several times, and this was the first time I'd ever seen a bear, let alone quite a few of them. Unfortunately, it was very difficult to photograph. They were either really far away, which was good in a safe distance, or we were driving. One particular night, the boys were coming back from the shower and they walked right by a bear. It was at night. They didn't have their camera. Okay, to finish off our trip, we turned in our Junior Ranger program book to the ranger and got sworn in to be a Junior Ranger. If you've never done this, this is a must-do with the kids. Actually, of all ages, there is no age discrimination as to who can become a Junior Ranger. When you first arrive at the park, just go to the Visitor Center and ask for a Junior Ranger book. Some of them are very extensive. The larger parks like Yosemite, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, they're pretty much books that you have to complete. Some of the smaller parks are just activity pages and stuff. And you turn them in, you get a badge. This is something that me and my children have collected for years. Good morning from Yosemite. So this is our last morning here. We're heading on out. We've had a great time. We got to do a lot of good hikes, saw a lot of wildlife, bear, bobcat, all the fun things, some deer, some coyotes. Didn't get any pictures of the coyotes, but that was pretty cool. So we really enjoyed staying in the Curry Village. It was very centrally located. We were able to ride our bikes everywhere we wanted to go in the valley. We were here for 5 days and had a great time. This was a great trip to spend with my 3 girls and their boyfriends. This may be my last trip with them for a while because one of them's moving to Idaho, and I don't know when we're going to be able to all get together again, but it was a very memorable trip. So don't forget to like, share, and turn on those notifications. And please watch all my other videos.